morning, CSL, Carlsbad, Facebook Live. Here we are in March and we are marching forward, yes. And I can see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I want to let you know that this Facebook Live has been a great gift for all of us. And I know soon enough we're going to be going into our brick and mortar. We'll be going back to our center, but we're taking you with us. That's right. We're not going to abandon you because really there's been so many wonderful gifts that has come out of this isolation period, and you are one of our greatest gifts. So we are grateful for you. So let's start with what we love to do around here, and that's pray. We can't have enough prayers at this time. I invite you to close your eyes and to go within as I recognize that oneness, that interconnectedness, that love, that joy, that coronavirus that's being spread everywhere throughout the universe. And I know that God is always creating through itself, as itself, and by itself. And I know that God is always creating change in the relative world, but there is something in that eternal world that is changeless, and that is love, and that is wholeness, and that is connection. And as I know that I am one with this light, I am one with this love, I am one with the beauty of the divine. I know that I'm here to give my gifts, my talents, my joy, and my love to the world. And I know as I listen to my heart song, I know that each and every person who is here on this call right here and right now is a divine, individualized expression, a beautiful expression of wholeness and beauty and oneness. I know that each and every person here lives from the inside out, lives from the essence of who they are, taking this time truly in quarantine to listen deeply to that authentic being that is just loving and dying to come out and express itself in more ways out into the world, and just recognizing that as we are doing this on an individual level, we are also doing this on a collective level, knowing that we are all interconnected and we are here, right here and right now, to hold a high light for the universe and to allow ourselves to express this love and this joy and this beauty on a bigger level out in the world. And I am grateful for this time that we have together right here and right now. And so it is. And so it is. Like I said, we are marching forward. This is March. We are in our third month in quarantine, and there are so many gifts that have come out of this. I think that the pandemic holds a mirror that reflects our relationship with ourselves, with the earth, and of course with all of humanity. And as a human family, we're faced with this unique time in history that, like any crisis, holds a tremendous amount of gifts, even though we may not see them in the moment. This reminds me of Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell coined the hero's journey. And there's three parts to the hero's journey. There's the separation period, the initiation, and then the great return, which I know that we are marching towards that right here and right now. But let's talk about the hero's journey and how it affects you individually and how it is affecting us on a collective level. So what does a hero look like in normal life? You know, a hero is a he or she or the universe. The hero looks like the hero's doing what everyone else is doing, right? The hero's doing what is expected of him. The hero's basically living a normal life, wanting the same thing that everyone else wants, kind of following the path that everyone else is following, working hard and consuming a lot and trying to fit in, trying to be loved and admired by their family and friends, but really hardly questioning what's going on around them. But you know what? The hero is having a conversation within himself or herself while they're living the normal life, because there's something that's whispering in the hero's ear, like, you know, there's something so much better for you out there. Like, you're not really living your peak potential. You're not really expressing your greatness, and there's so many opportunities that you can take advantage of. But the hero's like, oh no, can't hear a thing. Because the hero is hypnotized by society and by life and doesn't feel like the hero's capable of going out there and making something happen. And why change when you don't have to, when everything is going in a divine flow? But then suddenly, the big shift. Suddenly something happens, and they call this a crisis, right? It could be you lose your health, you lose your wealth, you get a divorce, you lose a relationship, you lose your home, there's a death in the family, a tragedy, someone gets sick and you lose your vitality. And it's an awakening process where you have a wake-up call. Or maybe there's a pandemic, like the universe is being woken up. So we are being woken up from our normal life, and we're really reluctant to answer this call, but we are kind of forced to go on to the adventure. And this is what we call the first stage of the hero's journey, that you are separate from your normal life. Yes, we are separate from our normal life. We are now living inside. We no longer have our normal routine that we are doing. In the hero's journey, of course, the crisis is the one that like pushes the hero onto the path. In Chinese, the word crisis is two characters. It's we and ji, and we meaning destruction or danger, and ji meaning opportunity and change. So no doubt that the COVID-19 is a Ouija moment for you individually and for us collectively. Now the second part of the hero's journey is the initiation process, and this is what we're doing. It's like you are going through a labyrinth and you are walking the labyrinth, and you know how the labyrinth goes like in a spiral in a circle, and you're walking into the center, into your soul, and along the journey you are having to slay the dragons and going through the dark night of the soul. And you have to look at yourself in a greater way. And I want to tell you a story before I get into that about the Golden Buddha. In 1700s in Thailand, there was a Buddha that was made of pure gold. And the villagers who lived there heard that the community next door, they were going to bring their soldiers in and they were going to invade and take over. So what they did is they took mud and clay and they covered up the Buddha. And so the Buddha became the stone Buddha. The soldiers were there for many, many years, and everyone that knew that the Golden Buddha was under that stone had died off. So 200 years later, there's a monk that is sitting there and he's meditating by the stone Buddha. And when he gets up, a piece of that clay falls off and reveals that there is gold underneath that Buddha. He runs to the other monks and he says, "The Buddha is golden, the Buddha is golden." And everyone comes out, all the monks, and they bring their chisels and their hammers, and they reveal that authentic Buddha from underneath the clay. And this is what we're doing right here and right now. It's a metaphor for knowing that underneath everything, that you are perfect, you are complete. There is a authentic golden Buddha within you that's waiting to be revealed. There's an authentic golden Buddha within the universe collectively that's waiting to be revealed. And this is a time of deep questioning. So when you're in your quarantine, take this time to meditate. Take this time to go in deep and you ask yourself some questions. You know, what does my life look like? You know, am I happy here? Am I doing what I should be doing? Am I in the right relationships? Am I in the right work? What is happening in my life, and how can I make changes that make me become more authentic? We might want to let go of some old beliefs and bring in some new beliefs. You might want to add some. It's truly a time of self-discovery. And like I said, this is the time when we chip away at the Golden Buddha, that we are going to slay the dragons. This is the time where we're going to get rid of those fears that stop us from doing what we really want to do. We might have to go through the abyss, go through the dark night of the soul, give up some bad habits that are not serving us anymore. Really take a deep look at ourselves and how we are showing up in the world and how we're showing up for the universe. Now, Joseph Campbell, he says that the hero always asks himself 4 important questions. And the first question is, who am I? That's right, because who I am today is definitely not who I was yesterday. I know that. And who I am today, it probably won't be who I am tomorrow, because we are on this evolutionary experience of evolving and growing and expanding our consciousness. As our consciousness grows, we are no longer who we were yesterday. So this is a great question when you're in your meditation. Who am I today? Am I being the Golden Buddha? Am I living authentically with who I truly am? And the second question we ask ourselves, and we love this question, is what do I love? That's right. What do I love? That question never stops. to ask ourselves that question. What do I love to do in the world? Am I doing what I love, or am I just moving with the status quo? I mean, someone told me, well, they're receiving checks from the president and they're receiving checks from the unemployment, that they don't have to go back to work. They don't want to go back to work now. They can have all this money. I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe the question is, what do I love? Because when you ask yourself that question, what do I love? You'll never work a day of your life. You're really authentically being who you're supposed to be in the world. And when you give authentically to the world, we wouldn't be in this crisis if everyone was doing what they really love, because we would be giving love to each other, because it would be already within us. And the third question is, how should I live knowing that I will die? Yeah, that's a really good question. How should I live knowing that I will die? I mean, the reality is immortality. The reality is, if you don't die of COVID-19, you're just putting that date on hold, which is, good for me and everyone else. But how should I live? You're on a time frame here. We have a shelf life. And if we understand that reality, you're like, oh my God, I better go travel. I better give to the world. I better give my gifts. I better do something that enhances the universe before I leave. And then the fourth question is, what gifts do I bring to share with others? What gifts do I bring to share with others? And usually your authentic gift is really what you're good at, what you love to do. That's the gift that you share with others. The universe is waiting for you to share this gift. What sings to your heart, and how can you share that with other people? And you might discover that while you're in quarantine. You might, wow, I'm a really good writer. I think I can write a book. Or, boy, I'm a really good cook. I can create something. Maybe you're creating something while you're in quarantine. Someone texted me and said, I'm really bored in quarantine. Can you give me some wisdom? I said, you bet I can. If you're bored, you're not being creative. So do something creative, and it will really sing to your heart, sing to your soul. Yeah, because this is really a time to say, am I really being authentic with who am I? Can I really just chisel away at that stone and break away the illusions that I've been living? And it's a time to face challenges, and despite of all self-doubts and insecurities. And what I mean by that if there's something in your life that you love to do and you're afraid to get out there and really doing it because you're feeling, self-doubt or insecurity, or I can't do that, or there's no opportunities for me, that is not true. Let me tell you, that is not true. And what Joseph Campbell tells us that, I love this quote by him. I wish I was told this when I was young. It is time for the hero to follow his bliss. Yes, follow your bliss, knowing that if he does so, the universe will open doors for him where there were only walls. Yes, the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls. Can you imagine if you knew that before you started your hero's journey when you were a young kid? I wish I knew that. I just went in there with a bulldozer and tore down the walls until there was a door. But yes, follow your bliss. The universe will open doors for him where there are only walls. And not only that, it's also during this phase that the teachers and the right helpers always show up for you. Whatever you need to learn, whatever you need to do in your lifetime to give your gifts, the people are always there to show up for you. When I think about that, I think of, climbing some of the Buddhist temples that I climbed in Bhutan, and that we were always there to turn around and hold our hand out for the person behind us to help them up. So this is what we do in life. When we're climbing the mountain, we're helping each other out. And CSL has been great during this time. They're offering classes on how to, be creative with Zoom, and how to practice self-care, and how to expand your community via Facebook. We're just getting so much help on this time of change. And I love this quote by Joseph Campbell. We're in a free fall into future. We don't know where we're going. There are changes so fast, and always when you're going through a long tunnel, anxiety comes along. Wow, everything is just changing fast and furious, and we're like on this free fall. And I know this feeling because I think it was 10 years ago, I went on a hero's journey. I was living in LA, and I was in practitioner training, Prac 1, and I remember drawing a picture of how I felt, and I drew a picture of me falling on a free fall, and there was a parachute above my head that I called it my God parachute. I had no idea where I was going to land, and I had so much anxiety, but you know what? I landed in the sweet spot of the universe. I landed in Carlsbad. had no idea how beautiful God is. So we're always protected. We're always going to land in the right place. And Joseph Campbell continues to say, all you have to do to transform your hell into paradise is to turn your fall into a voluntary act. It's a very interesting shift of perspective, but that's all it is. Joyful participation in the sorrows of everything changing. Joyful participation of the sorrows of everything changing. You know, kind of like you're walking down the street, you know, there's a good looking guy, I see him in the corner of my eye, and all of a sudden, whoa, I trip. Oh, I did that on purpose. And then I start laughing at myself. You know, we have to laugh at ourselves while we're going through this journey. And it's a joyful participation in the sorrows of everything changing. So if you're watching this today, you probably have a lot of spiritual practices under your belt, and you've been practicing spirituality for a long time, and that's great, because that's exactly what you need. So these are the wings, our rituals, and our circles, and our meditations, and our prayers, and our invocations, and our mantras, and our pilgrimage. They all come together at this point in time, where you can be grateful that you anchored yourself into this power, so you can be present and you can support yourself during this chaos and during this turmoil, because you know the truth, and you know the truth shall set you free, and you know that everything is changing in the relative world, that nothing is changing in the eternal world. And these practices not only help ourselves, but it helps us to carry the light for everyone else who is complaining about the darkness, people who need your light right now that don't understand what's going on. Because we know that every thought, every word, every action, every state of being impacts the whole world and ripples into time. And now is the time to practice and share what we learn. Yeah. So there's many people right now that are experiencing distress and loneliness. And you might be sitting on a gift that someone else really needs at this time. I was supposed to meet with 3 girls today that I danced with in New York on house call. And I texted my girlfriend and said, okay, we're meeting today. What time do you want to meet? And her response was that it was really sad. My father's dying of COVID-19. He's in the hospital, and I can't go in and see him. I'm really angry. And so I just let her know that I'm here for her if she needed me. A couple days later, intuitively, after meditation, something told me to reach out to her and connect it to her, and I did. And I guess he had passed away. I had a feeling he did. And so I was able to leave her with some wisdom that I had learned along my journey that gave her some peace and her family some peace. And this is what we're here to do. We are here to ride on the wings of our spirituality and all the training that we have. How can we hold space for another person that's having a difficult time during this time? It's a gift of unconditional listening to somebody else, to hold that space and to share your thoughts and your wisdom. And not only that, but it's our gift to practice acts of kindness out in the world. Especially during this difficult time, we have to break this habit of separation and recognizing that it's a powerful reminder that we are interconnected and that we are all one. Now, our dear Reverend Almadraw put out an email to all the ministers. I'm sure she must have put it on our Facebook about the interfaith community. She's heavily involved with the interfaith community. And I'm gonna post this video for you because it really is amazing. There's an interfaith community in Escondido. There's also one here in Carlsbad, and they usually service between 50 and 60 people a week. And right now they are servicing 600 people a week. Wow. That's a lot of people. 600 people a week. And they usually have 80 or 90 volunteers, and their volunteers have been cut down to 80% because the volunteers are older and it puts them at high risk. So right now, the interfaith community, our people around the world, in our own backyard, are having problems with just survival. They want people to deliver food to them or to give them money so they can buy food, to deliver hygiene products, toilet paper, paper towels, to deliver masks, to deliver sanitation products. Whatever you can give to the interfaith community, I recommend giving to them, because they are serving a huge population, our neighbors and our brothers and sisters here in our own backyard that are just trying to survive. I mean, these people can't go in and say, okay, they can't answer the 4 questions like, what do I love and how can I give my gifts and talents to the world, because they're way down on the Richter scale. They're thinking about, where am I going to get the next meal? How am I going to feed my family? How will I pay rent this month? So please, if you have something to give to them, you can go to www.interfaithservices.org/COVID-19. And Mother Teresa, she quotes, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And that's what you're here to do. You're here to do small things with great love. So contact Interfaith Services, do something to help them out. Even if you don't want to go out, you can. There's opportunities to help them inside your house. www.interfaithservices.org/COVID-19. Because of ills of separation are parting, and the reality of interconnection is really apparent here on earth. This is the great gift of the COVID-19. And we needed this pause. We perhaps needed our isolation so we can see that we really need each other. And be grateful, my friends. Be grateful for your ability to breathe this fresh air that we have right now. Grateful for waking up for another day of fresh opportunities to give your love and your joy to the world. Yesterday I was so grateful for Encinitas and all the people that picketed over there because I went to the beach. Woohoo! Or maybe it was 2 days ago, but let me tell you, it was great to be out there and to breathe that positive ions and see humanity frolicking in the water. And no one could sit, but as long as you were moving, you could be there. And it was just truly a beautiful experience. And here's a quote from David Stein. If you're grateful, you're not fearful. If you're not fearful, you're not violent. If you're not fearful, you act out of a sense of enough and not out of a sense of scarcity. You're willing to share. Woo! Here we go on our hero's journey. We are ready to make the big return, and this is the 3rd step. First step is separation, then we have the initiation process, and now we are ready to return in a greater way. And what Joseph Campbell says on the return, that when you come back to your world, you are a different person. And universally, collectively, we're going to come back different too. We're more peaceful, we're selfless, we're compassionate, we're tolerant, we're content, and we're grateful. And we become a blessing to all who come in contact with the hero, and that's you. So let's hold this vision for our great return. How the hero's journey individually and collectively. Ask yourself these questions. How will life be like when we are back on the streets? Yeah, how will life be like when we're back on the streets? How will we relate to each other? What have we learned? And what will we do differently? Because everything we do from a place of love and connection is the field of love and connection around the world. And during this time of sitting in the dark of the not knowing, the unknown, we hold a vision of a more beautiful, more loving world in our hearts. That's right. And I'm going to leave you with the last quote by Joseph Campbell. When we quit thinking primarily of ourselves and we own self-preservation, we undergo a truly heroic transformation of consciousness. So give your love, give your joy to the world, because that's what you are here to do. And I just want to close with a prayer that we all can do together, a prayer of loving kindness, that when we can love and be kind to ourselves, then we can become loving and kindness to the whole world. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within. And always start with yourself when you're doing a prayer of loving kindness, because you can't give what you don't have. And breathe into your heart space. And allow your heart to open. And allow that bright light to shine forth. Give that light to the world. And allow this light to fill your whole body with compassion and love. And repeat after me. And once you repeat after me, silently or out loud, it doesn't really matter, right? Say it 2 more times. So say this 3 times to yourself. May I be well and happy. May I be free from suffering. And bring all your family into your heart space, into that light. And say to them 3 times, may you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. And now bring all your friends in your inner circle and outer circle into your heart space, into that light. May you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. And now bring all those people that you may not care for into your heart space. May you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. And now bring California and all the United States into your heart space. May you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. And now bring the world and the universe into your heart space. May you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. So recognizing that we are interconnected on the unseen side of life, I know that you will be well and happy, that you will be free from suffering, giving your gift, giving your talents, listening to that heart song that lies within you, so you may be a greater presence to the world. And so it is. Love you.